quite a bit. So let's go ahead and get into these last 6 chapters, which I'm so sad. When I read the last sentence, I was just like, that's it. That's it. And technically, I have the fan translation of this, so I could keep reading, but I really want to keep the same tone. So I'm gonna be patient. I'm gonna be a good girl and be patient. Also, I brought animal crackers. They're iced. They were given to me. So, and Twin I have Twin He said that last bit. Oh God, let me get hold on. Chapter 34. Who's ready to start discussing? Um, Chapter 34 was entitled Joy of Reunion. Ching Sha. Yes. So, leaving off from chapter 33, we had Jing Shao going to visit, like, to meet his brother who had just been injured and everything. And his brother was like, I told you not to come see me. What are you doing? So, in chapter 34, Joy of Union, we have, hold on. Oh yes. So we have basically like and he's thinking about his last life due to Jing Chun's personality and like his studious nature. Jing Shao assumed that his brother did not care for him. But now in this life he knows that that is not true. And he let's see he has this memory of when his brother visited him when he was in prison. And he had said, You are my only little brother. Even if I have to give up everything I have, I'm not going to let you die. I was like, whoa, that's some pretty fierce loyalty right there. I mean, unfortunately, in the end, he did die. He died very thoroughly, by the way. And then he came into his new life. So that was that. And you know, Jing Shao offers him some life-saving medicine. He says such a good big bro, right? He offered him some life-saving medicine, and his brother was like, No, you need this. And he was like, Take it. I got more. Take it. And Jing Chun, he was just surprised to see like the maturity of his brother. In fact, he's been happy with it so far, like as the novel has gone on and seeing his brother Jing Shao grow. He's like, Man, my brother is maturing. I'm really liking this. Let's go. And so, of course, Jing Chun, you know, when he's leaving, he was like, hopefully no one's caught you. And Jing Shao was like, yeah, I basically took a detour before coming here. So no one should know that I'm here except father. But he knows everything anyway. So there's no point in trying to hide this from him. It's whatever. If anything, it just helps his case for looking like a concerned little brother for his big brother. You said 10 years makes a difference. It does. And so, yeah, that was a nice little scene. Then we have the scene transitioning to uh, Mu Hanzhong and Jing Shao. And Mu Hanzhong gets a little flustered by some PDA. So that was cute. Nothing really big happened from there, but you know, he was just telling them he saw his brother and everything, and he was flustered when Jing Chun was kissing on him in front of the servants. He was like, "Oh my god, there are people around us." But I just think that's so funny. It's like, oh, so if there weren't people around, you'd be okay with it, huh? So eventually, let me see. I have notes. It says on page 219. What is my note? Oh, I just read that. On page 321. Yes, I have a note. So Muhan was telling Jing Shao, like, hey, my mom is going to be elevated to secondary wife. And I just thought this moment was so great because Jing Shao was like, that's wonderful. Soon you'll be able to call her mom. And I don't know why, but just like, I don't know how to elaborate on how I feel, but him expressing that joy and saying you'll be able to call her mom just made me so happy. Because I don't know, maybe it's like because of course, I mean, he knows the society that they're in and he knows the relevancy of that and how important that is. So it just made me excited for him to be like, soon you'll be able to call her mom in front of everyone, you know, and I'm excited for Muhan. that he can call her mom in front of everyone. And I just think it's crazy. Like well, I don't want to call my mom mom. In fact, when I talk about her, most of the times I call her by her name. But I would hate to have to refer to my mother if we were in this kind of scenario in anything but mom. Like, why am I having to call another person mother and not my own mom? That doesn't make sense to me. So I just thought that was funny. Anyway, they were walking together, and then Jing Shao ignorantly gives him some heartbreaking flowers, and Mu Hanjong is like, "What, you being unfaithful?" Basically, like he was like, "It's weird to gift these flowers that show you've been unfaithful," and so he threw the flowers and then grabbed the leaves and was like, "Here, have the leaves." And Mu Hanjong was like, "These are ugly. Why would you give me leaves?" And so then Jing Shao was like, the leaves of the union tree part during the day and reunite at night, symbolizing requited love. I'm giving it to you because I wish for our hearts to be united for life and joyful union for all eternity. I was like, well, sir, Mr. Military Man, I didn't know you could say something so beautiful. And Mu Hanjong was the same way. He was super surprised, and so I just thought that was such a cute little moment. Then we moved to everyone talking in court in the grand hall about what to do with King Shinan. And what do we have? We have King Sinan, of course, he wants to get their tribute and stuff reduced. And we have Song An, Song Lingxing's father, coming up again, talking without permission, is what I'm going to say, saying that Jing Shao should go to war because he's a grand general. And I'm just like, did you consult this man on this before you just volunteer him for fighting? Like, what are you doing? Your daughter is no longer the second like the secondary wife. She's a nothing concubine. Shut up. Go sit down somewhere. And so then we do have someone else who speaks up. It was Marquis Bayway. Go Marquis Bayway, because he was like, yeah, all we need to do is rescue the first prince. There is no need to send a well-known general for that. Like, all it takes, we just need to overcome them with time. What are you saying? He's just asking for his daughter to get thrown out. Exactly. Like, you are asking to be completely ruined. And so I was like, thank you, Mujin, or thank you, Marquis Bayway, for stepping in and saying something. But of course, he does have some military prowess and experience, in his family. So I was like, okay, you get a couple of points. Then we move on. Hold on. Oh, yeah, let me just make it clear. And the reason why they're discussing this war and fighting or what they should do is because Jing Chun had reported that there was no robbery in the first place, which we knew that. We knew it was a sham, but the king himself, King Sinan, actually seized his own tribute. So that's where that is. Anyway, here, let me see. Okay, not only did he seize his own tribute, but his memorial basically said that they couldn't aid the first prince. They couldn't go send troops to help him because of a drought. They were blaming everything on a drought and saying that they basically were incapable of going to save him. So it was just like, okay, sure, yeah. This is why I need to look at my notes. They're here for a reason. Anyway, then we move on. And the emperor decreed that King Sinan must rescue the first prince and that his tribute deduction request is denied. He also sent his own people, his own troops, like Shu army, to go from a different direction to rescue the first prince. And that, of course, was like, if King Sinan is still not going to do what he's being told to do, we're going to have someone else to take care of it. So, very smart emperor. So far, I will say that I like this emperor. I think he is very smart. And even though, of course, there's always going to be strife between the princes and everything, he doesn't really seem to be the kind of emperor who is overly affectionate toward one son versus another. He seems to have a pretty level head. I like him. You said you were surprised that Moo stepped up. Yeah. I was like, oh, okay. But, I think that's a smart move for him. You said and got that note about his background. Yeah. Side note, I like the subtle comparison we get of First Prince versus Jing Shao with how they handled the bandits. Yes. Yes. Showing how capable and competent he is. So then let's move forward. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Oh, having this little, I'm gonna call it war between which daughter is going to become the fourth prince's imperial consort. The Miles one, so not Bayway. Anyway, moving on to, hold on. No, I have another note here. It wasn't in my official notes, but I have to share it because I was just like, okay, Mu Ling Bao is stupid. A house divided cannot stand. Absolutely. Let me repeat that. Mu Ling Bao is very, very stupid. Why do I say this? Because the man was just like, oh my gosh, mom, they're elevating Mu Hanjiang's mom to secondary wife. Like, this isn't cool. And his mom is like, I mean, he is. It's unfortunate, but he is. So then Mu Ling Bao is like, oh my gosh, this can't do. If she becomes a secondary wife, then Mu Hanjiang's gonna be somewhat legitimate and I can't inherit the title. And so his mom is like, dude, there is an imperial edict that you are the heir of Marquis to be Marquis Bayway. Like, he can't take that from you. There's an imperial edict. And then he's like, but what if Prince Chung becomes what if he becomes emperor and decides to divorce brother and then he can come back and fight for it? And she's just like, if you spent less time hanging out with those idiots, you would be a lot smarter. Because come on, she's just like, this son of mine, and they're always stupid, right? They're always stupid. But it was just funny. She was like, if he is going to become emperor, he's got to get rid of Mu Hanjiang first. He can't become emperor with Mu Hanjiang as his consort. So I just thought that was funny. Anyway, Concubine Chu was actually listening in on that conversation. So she got nervous about that. We all know what that's going to lead to. There was a reason she was worried about Muhan staying. Yeah. And it's like, he's gone now. To her, she's like, he's gone. That problem is dealt with. So, like, just live life, get smarter. So then we move on to chapter 35, which is speculations. Also, because we're talking about the feudatories, I just wanted to elaborate for anyone who didn't know, because at one point I myself did not know that a feudatory is basically a person who holds land, power over a land under certain conditions of a feudal system. So, anyway, there are 3 feudatories. And going forward, hold on. I can't turn my pages. What is happening? Anyway, like I said, Concubine Chu heard that conversation. Now she's terrified and she really wants to make sure that she can talk to her son. We already know what she's going to do. She's going to poop on Mu Hanjiang. She's going to parent him out of paranoia because she's afraid of what could possibly happen. But anyway, when we get to page 339, we have hold on. Wait. Did I really not have anything to say in here? One second, y'all. My notes might be all over the place. Oh, wait. Wrong page. I was looking at the wrong notes. Okay. Anyway, so with everything that happened with Jing Chun and getting attacked and everything, of course, people are suspecting that it was Jing Shao who sent assassins. We know that's not true. The emperor knows that's not true. Jing Chun knows that's not true. But everybody is still going to say that it is true. So then we have some people that are like advising Jing Chun, and they're like, oh my gosh, like he had to marry a consort, a male to be his consort. and he's pretending, basically thinking he's pretending to be happy. Like, how could he be okay with that? And he was like, he shows great favor to his princely consort in front of others. That makes no sense. And I was like, oh wow, he loves his wife. How nonsensical. How awful for a man to actually love his wife. Oh no. But that just goes to show like how little love that gentleman wives get, because again, we know from that one chapter, a lot of them are very unhappy with their spouses. More than likely their spouses are unhappy with them. And so just to think, oh, since he's a man, both of them are men, they should be unhappy together. It's like, okay, sure, whatever. But anyway, Jing Chun is convinced. He's like, no, my brother would not do that kind of stuff. Y'all need to go sit down somewhere. So then moving forward, we have Mu Hanzhang giving advice to Jing Shao. Rumor has had it. And basically saying, like, you're going to want to stand up for yourself in the Grand Hall. Don't do that. Just stick to filial piety. Just express how much you love your brother, how absurd that would be, and stick to that. Don't try to reason with them. Don't try to use logic, because these guys are civil officials. They have studied for this. They have worked hard for their positions. They will out argue you. They will run around you. Okay. So just like stick to the simple stuff and do that. And I was like, you better give him that advice. And I actually think that that is very, very sound advice. And in the end, even with people shouting what they believe to be true, the emperor is like, look at this memorial. My son, actually, hold on. I'm moving ahead. There's a memorial that, this memorial he mentions, I wonder if it's the exact same memorial, Jing Chan, blah, blah, blah. Oh, yeah. Mu Hanzhang is like, your brother, if he wishes to help you, he'll submit a memorial. And then, so I wrote this note here because right after one of the guys was like, your brother's out to get you. And he was like, no, he's not. Everybody leave. It said he started working on a memorial. So I was wondering at this time if that was the memorial. Anyway, going forward, then we have a new name. Hold on. This is not an important character, but they're mentioned more than once. He's an upright official. Fan Jie. Fan, not fan. Jie. So that's how we pronounce that. Anyway, moving forward, we have Jing Chun's memorial. Yes, that is exactly what it was. He was asking the emperor not to investigate further. He was like, we don't need to do that. Let's just leave well enough alone. So the emperor was like, you see? So everybody shut up, basically. I really like the emperor very, very much. Then another thing that we have is Mu Hanzhang's business has been very, very profitable, right? And a lot of people are seeing that as profitable, but no one dares to get in this business as well. Why? And this is why I say this undeserved reputation that Jing Shao has is actually helping Mu Hanzhang, because everybody is like, oh, the Link Otis has wanders in waves. Hi. Everybody thinks that the Ink Lotus is run by someone else, but has Prince Chung's estate backing it. And so nobody wants to deal with him because he's unreasonable and overbearing. So they're like, yeah, we're not going to invest in have opening a business like this ourselves, or we might get them hands. So it's very helpful. Mu Hanzhang officially has a unique business that no one else has in their area, which is pretty cool. Then we have someone visiting the shop who feels like they're having a hard time coming into the place themselves. Like it's very inconvenient for them. And so Mu Hanzhang is like, you know what? Let me create my own DoorDash. Let me do a little HelloFresh. Here's a monthly subscription for you. You don't have to come here yourself. Let's just charge a fee and we'll have everything sent to you. Which I was like, you are a genius, my guy. Yes. Go, Mu Hanzhang. You said even more business. Exactly. Because that is something that's kind of like to go out for. It's like nowadays, like walking into a sex shop to get toys and films and stuff, or even just going to a regular store and buying, condoms or Plan B. It's kind of like, mm, but if you can buy it off Amazon or somewhere else that delivers, then it's like a lot less awkward for people. So I was like, you're doing it right, guy. You are doing the right thing. So then we move to chapter 36, which is the abolishment of the feudatories. Yeah, this is actually where I meant to give you the definition of feudatory, but I accidentally went to the wrong notes for the wrong chapter. Anyway, now that I have the right notes, let's go with that. So we have on page 339, Mu Ling Bao's date with the river is still a ways off. That's not even anything that's really relevant. But reading this chapter, that was just what stood out to me, because Jing Shao, it says here, thinking of this, Jing Shao was reminded of Mu Ling Bao again. It was unfortunate the weather was heating up. He'd have to wait a few more months before he could toss him into the river. And I just thought it was funny that he was still thinking about this. And I'm just like, Mu Ling Bao, you better count your days because you have a date with the river coming soon. It just needs to get a little bit colder. I just love the fact that Jing Shao is not letting this go, and he's still got it in the forefront of his mind. Like, don't worry, this is coming. And I'm not gonna lie, if it doesn't happen in volume 2 or 3, I'm gonna be very upset. Like, I'm gonna be like, such a detail that you have thought to mention again. I need it to actually happen. Okay. So anyway, after that little random tidbit, we do have on you keeping your mouth shut. Dude has it coming. Oh, and I forgot to mention that he is foreshadowing Muhan beating him up. Possibly. Hold on, let me go back and read it. Though Muhan Zhang's tone was light, it made him sound easy. Could hear the struggles implied within those short sentences. Dude Marquis Earl, the title earned, military generals. A child coming from a military family who couldn't practice martial arts would already be looked down upon, let alone a common-born son of a concubine. Yeah, possibly. I didn't think about that, but definitely sure. I did think about it when something later happens, not necessarily beating him up, but him being able to practice martial arts again. Anyway, we'll come to that in a second. So then, when he says he doesn't need to practice. So let's see, moving forward. Hold on. Yes. Shifting to the next scene. That's my little switch sound. It's time to abolish the feudatories. Basically. Like, King Sinan has already pissed off the emperor. So we already know what's coming soon. And let me make sure I'm looking at my notes. We have Muhan Zhang, and who needs a soundboard when you have Marjan? Every time I see one of these, I'm just going to be like, so then, like I said, we have Muhan Zhang and Jing Shao going to visit Jing Chun for a little bit. And the two brothers, like, Muhan Zhang was going to step out to give them their privacy, but they just started talking before he can even get away. And he realizes that, oh, they trust him. Like, they trust him a great deal. And I did not mark this area. Oh, here it is. I'm glad I found it, though, where it says that they really did think of him as someone they could trust, even someone they could plot with in their bid for the throne. I was like, wow. So they're talking about this kind of stuff just right in front of you. Crazy. But anyway, at some point, Jing Chun even asks him, like, hey, you take a look at this. Like, what do you think about this method to abolish the feudatories? So I'm like, oh, he trusts his brother-in-law so much. And then, of course, Jing Shao, he trusts his consort so much. So, yeah. And then, of course, Jing Chun is like, if war breaks out, do you want to go, Jing Shao? And he's like, I'll go. He's like, of course, I'll go. So there's that. But then that scene ends with Muhan Dong looking down and being quiet because if war breaks out, that means Jing Xiao would be away for years and he wouldn't be home. And I was like, oh, you're saddened by that. I mean, I was saddened by the thought too. I was like, yeah, that sounds awful. What are we gonna do? So then he knows what he's good at. Yes, he does. So then we get to talking about Jing Chun's plan, and that is basically he doesn't want to have to use military force. Though, of course, Jing Shao is very much willing. They want to try to find a way to do it without going to war. And this specific plan is generational degradation of the hereditary peerage. Now that just sounds like a grand thing to say. Generational degradation of the hereditary peerage. Anyway, all it is that with each generation that goes by, their position is going to get lower and lower. So I'll basically say status one, two, three, four, five, status one being the highest. So the generation that's at status one, their children, they're going to be status two. And then their children are going to be status three, status four, and so on and so forth. And I just thought that was very interesting. But as it says here, like they have the commandery kings, and then the next generation would be dukes, the next would be marquises, and so on and so forth. And I was like, huh. So just giving them less power over time. I think that makes sense. Pretty cool. So then we move on because Muhan Dong goes to visit his mother. Mom. He was able to call her mom for the first time in front of everybody. Everybody got to hear him say mom. That is so nice. I'm just like, oh, because they care for each other so much. You know, it's not, they don't have a bad or strained relationship with each other because of things that have happened. Actually, they don't have a strained relationship either way. They just had a bound relationship, if you will, a secret, intimate mother son relationship. And I was just like, oh my God, he got to call her mom. Oh, my son. Oh my God. Okay. That was just so wonderful. Oh my gosh. Okay. But then, of course, she has to go, and you said you thought it was interesting that she was still doing the books before this. Yeah. But then she had to go and ruin it for me by expressing her concerns from what she had overheard from Marquise Bayway and her son having their conversation that she overheard. And I was just like, stop it. Don't ruin this moment for me. You'll go now. Good night. Have a beautiful sleep. And so, you know, he's basically like, mom, like, don't worry. He doesn't even care about vying for the throne. Like, that's not something we have to worry about. And you said, I love the fact that Muhan is secure enough now. Yes, we will talk about that a little later too. But of course, then she mentions, you know, but what about when he's going off to war? There will be, what did she say? There will be plenty of opportunities for him to go to war in the future. So then, of course, he's thinking about it again. And he's like, oh my gosh, if my baby goes off to war, that's going to be 3 to 5 years before he can even return to the capital. And I'm just like, so then we mentioned this again. And Muhan Dong has gotten sad about it. We need to address this, author. This is how I felt. You said bye bye. Yes, bye bye. You need to go and read a new Danmei. Ooh, what Danmei are you going to read? I want to know before you go. And I just rhymed. I'm gonna wait to see what Danmei you're reading. Also, let me just check this really quickly. Yeah, tell us. We're all waiting to hear what new Danmei you're going to be reading. This is why Yan Wushi yeeted Shun Chao at that one creepy dude. uh, I'm sorry. Looking at the Discord. While we're waiting for you to tell us what you're reading, Utma, you deleted Mari Chan's Yan Wushi from phone. Mm-mm. Okay, maybe she already left. If she already left, that's okay then. We'll continue on doing what we were doing. So, chapter 37, which is entitled Summoned. I didn't like this chapter. I didn't like it. But at the same time, no, I think it was the next chapter that I didn't like. Anyway, so we are on this chapter, and oh, here we go. Someone recommended it in the Discord. Oh, okay. I'm also waiting for the male protagonist to usurp the throne today. That's such a long title. That's such an anime title. Like, why are there so many words? Okay. You said, yeah, I'll find it. Don't judge me. I'm judging. You love transmigration novels. Me too. I love them so much, which is one of the reasons I'm super excited for us to read How to Survive as a Villain. Because other than The Disabled Tyrant's Beloved Pet Fish, we haven't read any other transmigration this year. I mean, the only other thing we had that wasn't transmigration, but that was slightly close to that realm was Devil Venerable Also Wants to Know, with him being able to see that he's in a book, if you will. But I need a new transmigration. Of course, I read SVSSS again, but I'm like, I need a new one. Like, I just want more transmigration, and I need them to be good transmigration. So enjoy your reading. Anyway, opening up this chapter, we have King Sinan. What does he do? He rejects the emperor. In the 5th month, he's like, nah, we ain't, hold on. Actually, let me put this here. So Fan Jie, because we have this person again, he goes to the Sinan fiefdom to announce the imperial order, the edict order, that they're reducing the power of the feudatories. And King Sinan rejects this. He refuses to comply, and he writes an appeal to argue his case. Then the next month, King Sinan beheads the imperial envoy, Fan Jie. And he declared himself the ruler of a now separate Sinan kingdom. So you're declaring war, basically, is what you're doing. You said now it's forbidden in China, isn't it? So you gotta scour old books. Wait, what's forbidden in China? Transmigration? Wait, what's forbidden in China exactly? SVSSS? What's forbidden? What? No. China, get it together. Also, I don't know what y'all are doing. Y'all can't do that. I mean, y'all can, but you can't. So anyway, yeah. So he does that. So of course, troops are sent out, and specifically, it's 100,000 troops. They don't have to change adaptations to books to be published, not to be transmigrations. And at the worst time for them to declare war. Yes. Interesting. So that's sucky. That's really sucky. But okay. Interesting. So then after that, we have Duchess Mao, who is saying all the right words to Empress Consort Lady Wu. Basically, she's saying all the right words, hopefully, to have the 4th prince sent to fight the king Huainan when it gets to that time, and hoping that he doesn't get sent somewhere else, because war is very trying, it's very hard, and her daughter is about to be married to the 4th prince. And so she's like, they're about to get married and then he's going to leave right away for years. That's going to be sucky. Like, it's possible that he'll come back and not want her anymore, get some new women, or she'll be treated badly, yada, yada, yada. And so the Empress is like, don't worry, that won't happen. And so that was just an interesting little moment. So she is just trying to look out for her daughter, which, I'm not mad at. That is definitely what it is. So then we move to page 347, where Marquise Bayway, the lady of the house, if you will, is causing trouble. Because why not? The reason this whole thing came up with Duchess Mao in the first place is because Marquise Bayway definitely heard about this war pending and everything, and told, I'm sorry, I'm sure she's heard about the war, but she heard about the consort, the concubine, not consort, concubine Liu that was gifted to him. And so what she decided to do was be like, hey, everybody, he's got an imperial consort, but he already has a concubine that he favors so much. So the consort isn't going to have any power, or she's going to be looked down upon. What are we doing? So that's how all of that happened. And it's kind of putting a damper on like Duchess Mao's daughter's reputation. And so the Empress gets mad about this. And what does she do when she gets mad about this? We'll get to that in a second. But we have Jing Shao and Mu Hanzhong talking with each other. And of course, Jing Shao tells him, like, my father, the emperor, said that they were going to find another secondary wife for me. And Mu Hanzhong's like, and how did you respond? And he was like, I only like men. That is how he responded. And so he was like, I can't even muster any interest in women now. I thought that was funny. I was like, well, I mean, if it's true, then it's true, that is what it is. But it was funny because while he said this, he was also all up on Mu Hanzhong and his nether regions. And it was funny on page 349. It said Jing Shao mischievously chased after him, pressing the side of his face against the little Junqing in his pants. I was like, I swear, I think Jing Shao is the one that wrote this book. The little Junqing in his pants definitely sounds like something that he would say. But not him trying to get all lovey-dovey on him while talking about this. What are y'all saying? I meant in the book, Jing Chun said that they had no food. Marquise. No, God. You said you ran into a sorcerer. So China can depict death or the dead. What? Transmigration novels like SV have to be changed. Wow, new simplified Chinese version of SV is now a coma dream sequence of Shunyuan's. Weishima. Why? Death is a thing. It happens. Okay. Thank you for the education. China, what are you doing? If you wondered why, I'm just like, why? Why? Because it's not human nature. So why? I mean, death is a thing. When you Googled censorship, China's regulations, SARFT is what I'm going to call it. Targeted time travel and transmigration TV novel since. Interesting. I suppose. It's fiction. Feudalism, superstition, and potential social critique. It's fiction. Even if it sometimes pull from realistic things, it's fiction. Oh my God. Yeah, you can have fierce ghosts, but no zombies. Oh God. I don't know. That's so weird to me. They need to get it together. Anyway, let's keep going. So yeah, he said he likes men only, and it is what it is. Then we have again, Mu Hanzhong feeling sad about the upcoming war. So this is the third time that it has been mentioned. So I'm like, okay, when are we addressing this? Because right now, Jing Shao seems to be a little blind or a little ignorant to, I guess, to how Jing Shao feel. I mean, how Mu Hanjiang feels, and he's showing so much excitement about it. Meanwhile, Mu Hanjiang is like, "Are you not sad that you'll be leaving home? Are you not sad that you'll be leaving me? Like, you seem very excited to go off to war, and it's making Mu Hanjiang feel very, very sad." And so I'm like, "No, something's got to give. There's no way he's leaving you. What? I don't know." Anyway, we end up getting a new person's name. So let me put it in here really quick. So this is kind of like Duofu, but Duolu. So Duofu is, the servant with Jing Shao. Duolu is coming from the Empress's palace. Anyway, I don't like this eunuch. You said hate that guy. Well, don't say anything. I haven't heard enough to hate him in here yet. I just don't like him because Dwarfu doesn't like him. But anyway, the Empress has summoned Mu Hanjiang to the right of Luen Palace. And initially, Jing Shao was like, hold up, I'm coming too. Like, well, hold on, what is this? I don't know, I don't like this. And they're like, don't worry, it's a trivial matter. Nothing's going on. It'll be fine. And Jing Shao was just like, nah, something's up. I don't like it. So he's like, well, I'm coming with you. Even if I can't go into that palace, I'm coming. I'm coming. And I'm going to be where I can be. So then we have Jing Shao talking to Miao Xi, and it's like, go with Mu Hanjiang. And if something happens, you find a way to get away and come notify me of exactly what's happening. And she's like, okay. So then we come across a male Xiao Qian, not the one from Peerless, who he gives him a golden pichu and is like, hey, if you see this lady coming out and running here, just let her through. Okay. Okay. All right. Boom. I'll take the fall for anything that happens. Okay. So that's how that chapter ends. And then we move to chapter 38, which is the second to last chapter. Oh my God. And it's called Punitive Kneeling. Y'all, as soon as I read the name of this chapter, I was concerned. I was concerned, and I was like, I already don't like it. Already don't like it. So, anyway, let's go on. Oopsie, what am I doing? Okay. Yeah, already don't like it. So, we have the seventh prince, by the way, who I'm just going to say his name is Jing Yi. I think that's pretty easy. I don't need to type that out or teach you guys how to say that, but that is a character in here. So, you need to know. Anyway, let me make sure. Hold on. So Jing Shao is visiting his younger brothers, and they're all kids at this point, and they're very excited to see him, especially one of them, which I don't think I highlighted their name. That's fine. Oh no, yeah, it was Jing Yi. So he was just like really excited, and he was like, "You still remember me?" And he's like, "Of course I remember you." And he picks him up, and it's just like a cute little moment with some younger brothers. They still have the naivety of youth, and they're not worried about fighting for thrones and all of that stuff. So it's just like they're cool. He says she foreshadowed it with her own experience. She petty. Also, OG Empress was nicer. Getting to that, love the pick with his bros. Yeah, so far we haven't had any picks, but the two last picks are in these final chapters. So he's going to visit his brothers. They're having their cute little moment together. Meanwhile, the Empress is rudely questioning Mu Hanjiang, and he is being so on it. Like there is no room for error in anything that he is saying or anything that he is doing, but she just trying to take her anger out on him. And basically, well, I'll go ahead and show the picture now since it's right here. Okay, look at all those little kiddos. Doesn't he look adorable? Look at the emperor in the background. But anyway, so the Empress is asking questions, and it starts out where he was like, I actually don't have any idea what you're talking about. Jing Shao is able to make decisions on his own. He didn't make me aware of anything until it was already done. But she's just going off on him, and she's like, "You're older than the prince. Your role is to advise him on something he did not know about." And she's just like, you have to think about his standing, and he needs someone to inherit his title, and you're this and you've studied that, so you should know better, and blah blah blah. And Muhan Jong is like, so okay, I get it. You're really just taking your time to insult me um and my intelligence by doing this because you're just upset. And so the consort is just really upset about him saying, Jing Shao saying that I don't like men, because she feels like, okay, so all the other ladies that were there, like, you're just making a fool out of her basically, and that he was insulting her. And I was like, or he was just being honest. Maybe he really does just like men, or maybe he just likes Muhan Jong, and that's it. Like, maybe he didn't really care about relationships and sleeping with people in the first place anyway, because from the age of 14 he's been fighting, he's been a soldier, but then finally he has someone, and it turns out to be a man. Like, you're just mad that he didn't really care about the concubines and all of them, because they were irrelevant to him anyway. Muhan Jong is talking, and he's like, you do realize basically that Imperial Prince is not something that's hereditary. And he's telling her, like, at most, the child will be able to inherit the Defender General of the state. And she immediately, like, snaps. And she's like, you're being so disrespectful. How dare you speak against His Majesty? And it's just like, who's doing what? No one's doing that. And so she ends up saying that he has to kneel. But here's the issue about her telling him that he has to kneel. He has to kneel until he figures it out. Here's the problem. Muhan Jong is thinking, she didn't even tell me what it was that he was supposed to be reflecting on. So what conclusion is he supposed to come to? What is it that he's supposed to figure out? But you're telling him to kneel. So of course there's that. And not only does he have to kneel, but the ground or the marble, whatever, what was he kneeling on again? I don't remember. I guess that detail is not important. The important thing is that the surface he's kneeling on is scorching hot. It is the middle of the day. This woman was supposed to be taking her afternoon nap, yet she is over here torturing Muhan Jong, or trying her best to torture him. So he's kneeling, and he is just like, he already knows what this is all about. And then I love Muhan Jong so much, because he is such a considerate person. I don't think he's a pushover, but he is considerate. And on page 362, like, he knows that she's just venting her anger, and she doesn't know what to do or how to end this scenario that she's found herself in. And so he was like, it's too bad I'm a male. I'm a man, and I'm not a frail concubine. And then he's like, he would probably be fine if he stayed until the sunset. He would be perfectly fine. But he's like, I don't know. Maybe I should pretend to faint to give her a graceful way out. I was like, how considerate of you, Muhan. He says she's been waiting for a reason. While I love that he is confident, people die of heat stroke. Bro timed out. Yeah, it was just kind of like, oh, okay. um, so I mean, but there's nothing he could do. Even, I mean, he had to kneel. So, but that is what it is. The point is, Miao Xi wasn't able to get away until he had been kneeling for like 2 whole hours. But before we even get to that, we have the emperor, which I showed you guys the picture because they showed it that early, but I'll go back to it again. The emperor is going to the same place where his little son should be studying, and he's back there. Let me get closer so you can see his expression. All right, that's as close as I get. But he's like, oh, to see Jing Shao with his brothers, and it warms his heart to see him. And I was like, oh, that's so nice. And so they're chatting with each other and everything. Um, but then Miaoxi eventually gets there, and the guards they stop her, but the emperor and Jing Shao see her, and it was like, let her through. So she's like, he's been kneeling for 2 hours at the rites of Luan Palace. Oh my gosh, help him out, please, please. And so the emperor and Jing Shao head their way, and the emperor is upset. And the empress, she looks very shaken, like she even dropped her teacup, I think, because she was surprised. And of course, Jing Shao, very good man, because he stops first and he's like, I'm sorry, father. And then he goes and checks on his husband. And then at the end of this chapter, it's like Mu Hanzhang had a smirk on his lips, because now with his majesty here, he could go all the way out. He was thinking about acting before, but now he's really about to do it and escalate the situation. So he like weakly lifts his head, glances up at Jing Shao, and is like, Your Highness. And then he closes his eyes and falls back like he's fainted. He was like, well, let's go ahead and make this the story of a lifetime, shall we? So I thought that was so funny. I was like, Mu Hanzhang, you are perfect. I love everything about you. You said peerless actor. I was just like, this is you. You're great. Oh my gosh. So then when we get to the final chapter, yes, I love him too. We get to the final chapter, and the emperor, of course, is like, what's going on? Of course, first he's like, move him to the daybed at once, which actually I appreciate. Let me say that. First, he says to move Junting Muhan to the daybed. He doesn't immediately go for the kill. He's like, let's get the consort okay first. Then he's like, send for an imperial physician. Then we have Jing Shao, who's like, father, and he's about to, but then Mu Hanzhang is like, oh, y'all can't see me, hold on. He pinches him to stop him from losing his cool, because he's like, this is the perfect opportunity for things to play out well in a certain way. Don't ruin it by being rash and going off and being disrespectful. Just like, shh. Do you see what I'm doing? He's like, you see? Shh. Okay. Okay. So, and so I say, well trained hubby. Yes. So then after the emperor sees that, he's like, oh wow, look at my son, he's just a distressed lover. And so then he looks at the empress and he's like, what is going on here? And what does she do? She talks out the side of her neck. If y'all don't know what that means, she's making up a bunch of hoopla. She is making up a bunch of lies. And she's like, he was being so disrespectful to me, and he doesn't have any remorse. So I had to make him kneel so that he can reflect on his words for a while, because he was not acting as a princely consort should. I just did not know that he would be so frail. Oh my God, Emperor, I'm so sorry. I didn't know. And the emperor, he's like, yeah, I'm not stupid. I know exactly what this is. Because I know that you have definitely bullied some people in the past, some of the concubines and whatnot. And because of how you act or your discipline, I let it alone because it was small stuff. But he was like, this is intentionally mistreating my son-in-law. And so then we have him basically, we have Jing Shao, looking to Junqing, and he's like, are you okay? Does it hurt? And again, Mu Hanzhang pinches him again, and he's like, be careful how you speak. So, of course, we're moving on, and the physician comes, and he basically reports, that his pulse, is okay, I suppose, but he fainted because of the heat, obviously entering his body, and he already has poor circulation. So now that he's awake, he needs these heat relief pills, but he's like, however, because of his I think weak constitution, he's going to like the heat won't be completely dispelled. He could possibly have long-term vertigo. So he's going to need to take that prescription in the evening. Otherwise, there could be some problems. So, um the emperor is like, head home, take care of your consort. Okay. And so Jing Shao, he wants to say something else, but of course, Mu Hanzhang prevented him yet again. So then he's like, Mu Hanzhang even speaks up and he's like, thank you, Father, for your concern. And I was like, oh, yay. And so then the emperor, before they leave, he said, I will give you satisfaction on what happened here today, but later. And when I tell y'all, I have never liked and respected an emperor so much until this book. Yes. And the reason why I do this is because I appreciate that the emperor is respecting his son while also respecting his wife. What do I mean by that? So, first off, of course, we do have the empress who basically, he goes off after they leave and everyone is dismissed. He's going off on her and he was like, as a mother of a nation, you're not even as good as these two young men at conducting yourself and keeping your composure. So the reason why I respect him is because, first and foremost, like I said, he respects his wife. Even though I don't like her, he went ahead and made sure that everyone else was dismissed to go off on her, to put her in check. Because, I mean, that is his spouse. He doesn't really need to reprimand her in front of everyone. It's kind of like when parents disagree on something concerning their child, they really shouldn't have that conversation in front of the child to show that discord. That's something that needs to happen in private. So he has my respect for that. He also has my respect just for telling his son, don't worry. For what happened, you'll get your satisfaction. I'm just not going to do it in front of you. So he also respects and cares for and loves his son and son-in-law. So he's like, yeah, don't worry. I'm going to take care of you. Don't worry about it. And I just thought it was funny. His diss to the Empress was hilarious. She was like, literally, my son and my son-in-law are better at keeping their composure and conducting themselves than you are. And it's just so funny because, she realizes that in her moment of wanting like satisfaction, that she had put herself in trouble and now it looked like she couldn't really see the big picture. And I was just like, yeah, that instant gratification monkey will definitely get you. Sometimes we just want instant gratification to quell our thirst for something, and we end up in worse scenarios. So it was just like, I just snaps to the emperor. Yeah, he didn't call her out in front of everyone. He said the emperor ships them. Hex, yeah. He's so happy to see his son having his first love. And I think it said that literally somewhere. So he's like, there's no way I'm about to let my wife ruin this. Woman, what are you doing? He said he's a pretty competent emperor comparatively. Yes, right? He lets other air problems before giving the final say. And he's not easily like he's not gullible. That's what I'm looking for. Side note, he loves to have his sleeves swish when he leaves a room. You know what? Now that you mentioned that, yes, because every time he does, it's like he swishes his sleeves. I'm like, so you're so dramatic. If anyone's wondering why Jing Shao, it can be dramatic sometimes, even if it's in a different area, he gets it from you. He definitely gets it from his daddy. So I said, we love a sleeve swisher, don't we? We love the dramatics. We are here for the theatrics all the way. So anyway, then when Jing Shao and Muhan get home, actually, before we do that, we have, because this is important to mention, someone else also mentioned it, and I wanted to put a pin in it for the time. But Emperor Hong Jun, is looking at the palace one more time, and then he sighs. And he thinks if the late Empress, Jing Shao's mommy, and Jing Chun's were still alive, no doubt both the harem and the court would be spared from much turmoil. And I was just like, Dang. Dang. And so now I'm wondering if Jing Shao's mom was his first love, you know, and we do know from earlier that Jing Chun said that, oh, Jing Chun and Jing Shao, really, that their mother was murdered. Somebody killed her. And so I'm like, the emperor must not know this. I'm thinking maybe the emperor doesn't know this. What's going to happen when he finds out? Just all of that stuff. And I'm like, ooh, I can't wait to like get more information on that because I definitely don't think that's going away anytime soon. It was kind of mentioned and then we went on to the next thing, but I'm like, no, this is something that has to be brought forth because clearly the emperor more than likely loved her and she's gone now. He misses her. So let's see what happens. So anyway, they are spending their time together and oh, and Jing Shao again mentions going off to war. He says, "Lip zip, zip, thank you." And he says that he's leaving tomorrow to get acquainted with the soldiers, with the commanders. And so Muhan is like, wait, you're leaving tomorrow? And he's like, yep, I got to go and get used to everybody and blah, 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 this and blah, blah, that. And Muhan Jong is like, once you leave, we don't know when you'll come back. And then he starts to say, like, have you dot 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 thinking, have you even thought about how we're going to part? Because again, every time it's mentioned, he just seems so excited about it and so ready and like, yeah, I'm ready to go. And he becomes sad. And then it's then that Jing Shao realizes that there must have been some miscommunication somewhere. And because it says he never even thought to separate from Junting. So of course he's thinking that Junting's going too, I guess. But he realizes, actually it says here, he believes that if there is a single day that he goes without seeing his consort, he feared that he would not have a mind for battle at all. It just seems that maybe he forgot to tell him that. I was like, how do you forget to tell your consort that you're taking them to war with you? That's kind of important. He needs to, why would he automatically assume that he's going? He's a consort. Man or not, he's a consort. Consorts stay at home. Jing Shao, you had this man over here fretting for the past couple of days like my hubby is leaving me. What am I going to do? He's like, oh. So here's the thing, because he's an idiot cookie. So here's the thing that's even crazier though, is after he realizes what Muhan Dong is fretting over, he decides to take full advantage of that. Instead of being like, oh, baby, no, I'm bringing you with me. There's nothing for you to worry about. Instead, he's like, Junqing, I'll be going to the army camp tomorrow. So in the future, I'm afraid that, well, we should enjoy ourselves to the fullest tonight. And he does this knowing that Muhan Jong is not going to resist him. Also, usually, unless there's a special occasion, he doesn't let Jing Shao satisfy himself more than twice in a day, which, whoa, that's a lot already, in my opinion. Twice in a day, but for special occasions, it's more than once. I mean, more than twice. And so, like my note here, I just said, wait, what? So anyway, oh, he decides to take advantage of, right, twice in a day. He takes advantage of this moment and he gets it in basically. And Muhan Jang, of course, is letting him do what he wants. Of course, it starts off as hurting, but then eventually he gets used to it and they're just going and going. And then at some point, Muhan Jang is like, bro, I can't take it anymore. He's like, just one more time. Just one more time. Are you earning any money, sir? And so, huh. So he spent all that time sleeping with him and sleeping with him some more and some more. And it ends with that. And meanwhile, we also have Muhan Jong, who's like really getting in the moment too, which I think is something great because he it just goes to show how much he actually does like Jing Shao, because he's like wrapping himself in the moment. He also literally wraps his arms around Jing Shao's shoulders, but he's just like, he wants more. He wants more. And he's like trying to carve their bodies together, basically mold them together, because he wants to be able to have this feeling with him so that he can long for his husband. And I'm just like, oh, that's so interestingly, uniquely sexy and sentimental at the same time. And they end with him nodding when Jing Shao's like, just one more time, baby. No, it says knowing that they'd have to part the moment he woke up tomorrow. I was like, how dare you end the novel like this? Jing Shao, why don't you tell that man that he's going with you? What are we doing here? Liu Ye Tianhe, what are we doing ending volume 1 like this? Like, what? What? Why we ended like that? I'm so upset. Nevertheless, I am super happy because, again, just thinking about when I read those first 6 chapters and I was like, I don't know about this, to now, I'm like, man, I wish the second novel was out already so that we could read this. Oh, so good. Anyway, I also love how my book looks. Like, just look at this. It is littered with notes. So many notes and highlights just everywhere. It's been a while since I've been crazy like this in a book. Like, even for the books that I've read on my channel, they don't look like this. And I think that's more so just because I'm a bit more leisurely. Like, when I'm reading, when I'm recording, it's it's inconvenient to do this, actually. Even though I do still take notes, it's inconvenient to be as in depth as I am in this novel. Like, the rest of them don't look like this. So I'm just like, wow. This, yes. So you said you love how I tabbed it. Thanks. Color, yes. You have a notebook. I had thought about doing a notebook before. I even tried it, but it just wasn't for me, so I let it go. I find that I really like to see the evidence of my notes in the book. Like, not outside of the book, but in the book. And so what I'm going to do actually is I'm going to get those really big sticky notes that are like 5x7s and have all of those at the chapter ends and take notes. And I think maybe that would help me indulge even more in my obsession with my notes. So yeah. And then of course all of my pictures, those are tabbed with the yellow all at the top only. So we finished The Wife Comes First, volume 1. That's it. That's the story for now. So now we have to wait until March 10th before we can even receive the book, unless we end up getting the book early, because some people like to some people get theirs earlier. But yeah, we have to wait till March 10th, which is a Tuesday. I'm sad. What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? And it's like one of those things where we could say, well, we'll just pick up another book, and we will, but like not right away. So like, what are we gonna do? Because for the next books for reading, like I said, Thrice Married to a Salted Fish, volumes 1 and 2, we're not starting that until February 2nd. February 2nd through March 16th, actually, to be specific, for both of those novels. So I'm just like, what do we do? Anyway, let's not cry about this. That was it. So how did you guys enjoy volume 1? Because I thoroughly enjoyed it. And I'm glad I kept reading, because what chapters 1 through 6 went through pages were basically like the first 50 pages, which for me, when it comes to reading a novel, I always give a book 50 pages at least. And if I am unsure if I should continue, I'll keep reading a little bit more. But I do give novels, generally speaking, 50 pages to impress me, or I'm DNFing. And yeah, I'm glad we kept going with this one. You said you wanted to ask if anyone wanted to join you in reading Divine Scratching Post. Oh, I do want to read that as well. Loved it and glad I wasn't wrong about the warm fuzzies. Yes. Yes. So you mentioned Divine Scratching Post. I do want to start reading that. Let's see. Oh, the first novel came out on December the 23rd. It's going to be 3 volumes. The only reason I don't want to start it yet is because there's only 1 volume. And I've already put myself in a position where I have to wait for this one. And more than likely, I'm going to finish reading this. Finishing this month. And then the second volume, I'm finishing in January. At least that's the goal. I want to have read all of volume 2 in January, and then I have to wait until April for the third volume. So I'm like, that is 2 books already that I'm reading, 2 series that I'll have to wait. Then we're also going to be doing the same thing with Salted Fish. We got volumes 1 and 2, but then the next volume doesn't come out until June or July. And so I'm like, I don't want to add another book that I'm going to have to wait on. Especially since I'm not like recording them, because when it comes to remembering where things left off, I mean, I can definitely review my notes. I just don't want to forget anything. Anyway, you didn't finish Husband and I Sleep in a Coffin. Didn't like it. Yeah, I didn't even buy that one. I didn't even start reading it. And I'm trying to remember. I think by the summary, it didn't really stand out to me a whole bunch. So I probably won't read it because just whatever. You said you don't want to pressure me. Mostly just want people in a chat on the Discord, maybe. Absolutely. No, y'all do what y'all do. Do what y'all do. And you can even who is that by again? Same author, right? This is also by Liu Ye Tianhe. Because I think don't they have several novels? You say you'll try to get your grubby hands on it. Your grubby hands on it. Waiting is hard. Waiting is so hard. I hate waiting, but what can we do? Tianhe. Yeah, because they did the White Cat's Divine Scratching Post. The Wife Comes First. And I believe there is. Oh, I thought there was one more, but there isn't. Never mind. Oh no, I was thinking about Musu Lee having several common things. I was thinking about making a chat for Musu Lee eventually on Discord because I know that they have a lot of books that people have read, and like from Copper Coins to Pangwan to 300 Years of Longing. So I mean, we'll see about that in the future. You said, what is Divine Scratching Post about? Give me 1 second and I'll read the summary to you. Divine Scratching. Okay, so here's the summary, and I'll actually share my screen just so you can see the beautiful picture. Oh, wait, no, I won't because I'm on my regular tab and I need to be on the other tab. Okay, now I will share my screen with you. So, White Cat's Divine Scratching Post by Liu Tianhe. In his former life, Mo Tianlao was a feared demonic cultivator, renowned for forging spiritual weapons of devastating power. But just as he was about to complete a weapon capable of destroying the world, the righteous sects banded together to take him down. Before his death, he managed one final act of devotion, saving his beloved white kitten. 400 years later, Mo Tianliao awakens in the body of a divine tree, alive but stripped of spiritual power. To survive in this new era, he must start over from scratch by joining a righteous sect as a humble disciple. His new master? Ting Tong, a man of ethereal beauty and unmistakably feline mannerisms. And the more time Mo Tianliao spends with him, the more he begins to suspect that this aloof, elegant cultivator is not the stranger he pretends to be. That is the summary. So sounds very interesting. It's put in fantasy. It is going to have 3 volumes total. One is already out. The next one's coming out in April 28th. And this is partially the cover. Hold on. This is the cover. Looks cute. Cat lover 100%. So, yes. Okay, oops, I didn't mean to hide that. I meant to stop sharing my screen. Stop sharing. So that's what that is about. Does he push things off the counter though? Most likely he does. We know that most likely he does. So, on one of my posts on YouTube, I just asked people what you guys is like if English is not your first language. It's been interesting to see so many people's comments. I see Spanish, Portuguese, Hindi. I saw another one, Bengali, Kazakh, I think. I'm not sure I pronounced that correct. And I just saw someone put Polish an hour ago. But anyway, yeah, I'm super excited. Do you guys want us to read the summary for volume 2 or just keep it kind of a mystery? Let me know. Let me know while I read this comment. You said yes, he does. Polish is your first language. English is your second. Mm. Mm. You said read it? Okay, I will. I have to pull it back up. Pull it back up. Actually, again, I'm going to share my screen. That way we can all look at the beautiful art together as well. So let's go volume 2. Share screen. So here is the look of volume 2. It looks like this. And I'm wondering where they get a pet tiger from. I need it. That's so cute. I want a pet tiger. Look at it. It's so adorable. I need to see this in person on the cover because I'm sure that's so cute. But look at Muhan Jang staring at him this time instead of staring at us. And then Jing Xiao is looking right at him. Oh, and he's got like the feather under his chin. Oh, that's so cute. And he's kneeling before him. Oh, that hair is so long. That's Shilian length hair right there. It's already in a ponytail. Like, just let it hang, baby. So sorry. Let's read. Jing Xiao is going to war again. But Jae this time, he's bringing his Chitsa, his wife, sent to suppress a rebellion against the great Chan Empire. The third prince, Jing Shao, rides out once more as marshal of an army of 100,000 strong. At his side is Mu Hanjiang, his gentleman wife, in the guise of a sage strategist. I'm sure he's gonna excel at that. As corruption and treachery in the imperial court began to shape the battles ahead, Jing Shao uses the knowledge of his past life to alter the fate that once led to his downfall. Along the way, supported by Mu Hanjiang's cunning, Jing Shao uses his regression foreknowledge to take advantage of the things that once slipped him by, including the spoils of war, flames of vengeance, and the arms of his wife. As conspiracies deepen and long buried truths come to light, the bond between Jing Shao and Mu Hanjiang grow ever stronger on the battlefield and within the royal tent. Uh-huh. So that is volume 2, releasing on the 10th. Very exciting stuff. I wonder if there's even a release date for the third one. And yeah, Yeah, there is. I know there is. July the 21st. So there we have it. That is the summary. Just one more time. Look at that. Look at them. I'm excited. I'm very excited. You said, LOL, Mari Chan distracted. I'm- oh, I'm so excited for everyone to read the next volume. It's going to be so fun. I'm excited too. I wish it was here sooner. Can we already get to March? March is going to be a hectic month. Oh my gosh, you guys. You can't imagine reading a book at the time. Next volume, so much fun. Oh, I can't wait to read it. But yes, March is going to be quite hectic because that's like the busiest month of the year for me at my job. Just so y'all know, which I'm going to talk about it. But this, I haven't even necessarily put everything, I don't think. But y'all see, I have something to do on the majority of the days, not to mention that I am working. And we have my job has our World of Watercolor event that's from Thursday to Sunday, like all day and all night. And that's going to be on this week. And it's going to be long. And I have something to do for several hours the week before. So we'll see. That's why yeah, yeah, is all I can say. You said what barbarism? Like episode per week. So it's, hold on, just so y'all can kind of know. So every pink mark that you see, let me make sure. Every pink mark that you see is when I'm going live with you guys for whatever reason, whether it's for like Patreon read along or for live recaps, or if it's for the Mari Chan book club. Each of the yellow stickers you guys see is when I'm doing like art moderations for my job. I don't put stickers for like my regular Monday through Friday work because like why do I need to do that? And then all the orange stickers are non-work related, non-Donmei related things, but like stuff I'm doing, like appointments or memberships that I'm in, whatever the case may be. So yeah, March is pretty full. It's very full. Help me. I need help. But March is when we start. Hold on, let me make sure. March is when we start volume 2. Yeah. Actually, it's going to be March 17th through April 6th. Yeah. Anyway, you said you're excited. Oh, hold on. To turn my heating pad back on. My side has been aggravating me a lot more lately, and it's been very, very annoying. Anyway, so about, hold on. I'm gonna look at some of the messages that were sent in the Discord. Not on Donmei. Okay, good. We have a Copper Coins book club. Actually, I think that's very smart. Yes, because that's coming in January. SVSSS book club. The wife comes first. Lovely. Okay. Good to see all these things that you guys are adding. Very good. Thank you. How's mine for posting this and it's coming up? Ah, you're like my little, you guys are like my little admins. Thank you. Because wait, I was not expecting you to put that there for me. I'm super excited for this video. Like, I need January the 1st to come because I got really passionate talking. I got so passionate talking about SVSSS in this. Like, I know when I did my not so generic summary on why you should read You, I was very much excited about it. And it was how long? Over 20 minutes, I believe. I don't remember how long that was. Let me see if I can find it really quickly. Mm-hmm. 28 minutes and 39 seconds. Whereas this upcoming video for SVSSS is almost an hour. It's almost an hour. I think. Hold on, let me check. I have it on my terabyte. Let me see. I wanna, because I can't see what the time is because I set it as a premiere. I can't see it on the site. SVSSS. Why I love SVSSS. Oh no. Did it disconnect? Oopsie. That's what I get for holding it. Yeah. But I'm an SVSSS fanatic, if y'all didn't know. You said you can't wait for it. You missed the commentary at ends of episodes. I know, I know. This whole month has just been so weird, but it's been very lax, and I think I needed that. So I know a lot of you guys are missing the commentary at the ends of episodes, but it's a coming. It's coming back in January. Okay. I promise. Okay. You said also off topic, your firm voice acting is peak. Well, thank you. January 1st, 6:30. Is that when it's coming? At 6:30 p.m.? Mm, I don't want that. We're gonna put it at 10:30 a.m. I'm putting it at 10:30 a.m. since there's nothing that's being read. I think initially I put it there because I was going to start Qiang Jingju, reading that on the first, have the first video of that released on the first. But since we are what's the word I'm looking for? Reading that live together, then I'm gonna schedule this earlier in the day. So now it's scheduled for 10:30 a.m. because why are we waiting to 6:30 p.m.? It's not necessary. Um, that's what it showed. Yeah, that's what it was. It was 6:30 p.m. and that's why it was because we were initially gonna have a releasing of the first chapters of QJJ, but you gotta go walk your dog. So I gotta love you and leave y'all. Bye. Well, I need. Bye, doggy. Also, the doggy was really cute. So yeah, that's pretty much it for today. Um, I'm excited about everything we're doing with this channel. Also, I need to look into the forums because I don't really, I'm not really familiar with those and what exactly happens with those. Okay, cool. You said bye bye. Have a good day. Okay, we're good. Cool. Yes, you all have a good day too and a good night. Well, Einiman and hasta mañana or Ming Tian Tian. Bye bye. Yes, review the forums. Yes, I'm going to do that. Oh, my husband's calling me. Now's the perfect time. Wei?